Politicus, where we unpack the layers behind Nigeria's most pressing political development. And so today we turn attention to high-stake political drama that has placed Rivers State in the national spotlight. Now, suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara has just paid a courtesy visit to President Bola Tinubu in Lagos, a move that has raised concerns and sparked questions about backroom negotiations, shifting allegiance, and the future of governance in the oil-rich state, Rivers State. Now, this visit comes on the heels of a dramatic intervention back in the month of March, where President Tinubu, invoking emergency powers, suspended the entire state executive leadership. Of course, the legislative leadership, including Governor Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and the entire Rivers State Assembly. An interim administration, retired Vice Admiral Ibokette Ibas now holds the reign in the state. Well, there have been talks about the constitutionality of this, of the suspension of elected officials. Well, there are still talks about that. But beyond that, the political game continues. And this visit has raised further questions. Is this a political chess or a democratic crisis? Let's dig deep into this today on HOMO POLITICUS. You're watching Enterprise TV. Kingsley Bass is my name. I'm joined at this time by political commentator Nelson Ekunjimi. Many thanks for joining me today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Appreciate that. There's been several talks now about the visit of Governor Sim Fubara to the president, and some say he has since softened his stance since the suspension. Other persons say, well, this is needed for peace to return, and all of that to happen in Rivers State. Do you think this is the path to political reconciliation, or the governor is, aligning with the center just to get to continue his political journey in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. You are now aware of how Fubara found himself where he is today. He's had to go around trying to make peace because he's the man at the center of the whole crisis. He's the progenitor of the crisis. And until he got his finger burnt, some of us warned, but he was egged on by people and advisors, and today, whenever the history of Rivers State is written with regards to our democracy, his name will be written with a comma as the first governor, as the first democratically elected governor of Rivers State, who was suspended via the proclamation of a state of emergency. So the visit to the president might be part of the peace moves that he's trying to make sure as to send a signal, and it could be that he's also using the president to reach out to the other people he has issues with. So I don't know whether it's about aligning, but I know clearly if there's anybody who needs to ensure that he goes around talking to people, because he was the one who declared war on the democratic structures in Rivers State. And you can even glean that from the judgment of the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court declared that there was no democratically elected government, that as far as they were concerned, there was no democratic government in Rivers State, that what we had in Rivers State was a despot on rampage. So if Governor Fubara has gone to see the president, well, you and I know that the president is the #1 citizen of the nation, as well as the father of the nation. So it could be that Governor Fubara is reaching out to the president and to say, sir, I'm making peace and I'm trying to reach out to my other people that we have issues, and I want you to help me add your voice. So it's nothing new. Reconciliation is good because we cannot but have issues, we can have disagreements, we can have quarrel, but at the end of the day, even when we go to war, we still need to sit down at the table to iron out our grievances and life return to normal, because that is the only condition under which there will be peace tranquility, and progress.
All right. We'll very quickly go to break. When we get back, we'll continue this conversation. I'm still very much joined. You just heard his voice by political commentator Nelson Ekujimi. Let's go to break. We're back in a moment. All right, sir. Would need you to move your phone a little bit. We're seeing more of your chest than your face.
You mean I should put it up?
This is better. Yes. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
All right. Please calm me down. Let's get back. All right. Rolling. In 3, 2, 1. You are live. Thanks for staying there. We're talking the visit of the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, suspended by the president back in the month of March. And I'm joined again, just to remind you, by Nelson Ekujimi. He joins me virtually as a political commentator. Nelson, in your first comment, you did say that, Sim Fubara is the progenitor of the crisis, the political crisis in Rivers State. Many of his supporters, some neutral persons, not necessarily supporters of Fubara or the Minister Wike, would disagree with you that he started this crisis. That said, again, that's subject to debate. Some say he did not, some say he's not responsible for this, some say yes, some Wike is responsible, some would further say that, some other political bigwigs in the state are responsible for this. Again, that's subject to debate. But let's look at the future, the steps being made now. Some Wike was speaking the other day in a media chat, and he talked about this reconciliation moves and how he feels hurt by what Fubara has done. Well, with this now, this steps taken by Fubara, by the way, Wike did mention too that Fubara had paid him a visit with alongside two governors who accompanied him to his house for that visit, to reconcile. There are several persons too, who have supported, you did reference that too, who did support and have supported Fubara all through these struggles. Who have said, who now feels disappointed that he's taking these steps. What do you say about that? What do you say too about the future, the political future of Fubara and indeed developments in Rivers State?
Okay, thank you very much. In your opening salvo, you said about the progenitor of the crisis is debatable. I disagree with you absolutely. Who demolished the Rivers State House of Assembly? Who presented the budget of the State House of Assembly before a 3-man members in utter violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Nelson, you'd agree with me. Yes.
Just a minute, Bassey. The Constitution of Nigeria is very clear about when and how a House of Assembly can sit. That it must, one third of the members must be present. Does 3 make 1/3 of 32 members? Absolutely no. You presented a budget before 3 members of Assembly. Is that not a violation of the Constitution?
Nelson, you'd agree with me that something led to that, yes? So, again, it was... things led to that, and the governor took steps, maybe regrettable steps, but he took steps to prevent his impeachment, yes?
Bassey, look. No matter the provocation, no matter the desperation, as a governor who was sworn on oath to uphold the Constitution, will you now go to court and say because they wanted to impeach me, I now presented the budget before 3 members?
Well, not the presentation. Not the presentation now. If you recall, they had said by themselves, these 27 lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House, had declared by themselves publicly in a video that circulated that they had defected to the All Progressives Congress, meaning they had to forfeit their seats, isn't it? And the Constitution clearly states that.
Bassey, the declaration of the seats of members of the House of Assembly as vacant. The processes and who has the authority to do that is clear in our laws. So don't run with because somebody said he has. So if a member of the House of Assembly says he has defected. Is it within the right of the governor to make the declaration? Does he have the powers under the constitution? No. So how can you be justifying illegality, unconstitutionality? No matter what the members of the House of Assembly must have done, there are procedures and processes written in the Constitution that you must follow. If you don't do that, you're on your own.
All right. So to be clear, though,
to be people say they are defected.
Yes.
Answer your business.
To be
processes and procedures.
Yeah. To be clear, Nelson. To be clear, Nelson, that wasn't me justifying. I had to bring forward the facts, and we saw the chronological events that led to the current situation of things: the suspension of the governor and declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State by the president. Well, let's talk about the future, the political future of Sim Fubara. Before 2023, he was, so to say, unknown in the political space. Well, maybe known to civil servants, or quite relatively known in the civil service in Rivers State, but politically not known. He's become a public figure, as a matter of fact, a figure nationally discussed since his emergence as governor, and as a matter of fact, since this crisis started. What do you think of his political future? He started some reconciliation move. We've heard this, we've heard that about what he's doing. We've seen one now with, pictorial evidence circulated that he's visited the president. Do you think he's shaping himself gradually to, the force of a political figure, something many said, he lacked before now?
Well, I wouldn't know, because before now, all through while he was acting unconstitutionally, he never behaved like somebody who was prepared for the office of governor. But if he has eaten the humble pie, and no matter what anybody says, he's the one going around now begging everybody here and there. So if he's not the one who is wearing the shoe, I wonder why it is pinching somebody else. So if he does the needful and make amends, there's no reason why they should not integrate him back, depending on the factors responsible for what brought about the crisis. So the ball is in his courts to make amends, because he's the one in the furnace now that was burnt. So how he wriggles out of it, it depends on, you saw the other day when the former governor and minister of the FCT said he came to him with two governors. The FCT minister said, I'm not the only one he has offended. How about the members of the House of Assembly? So he has a lot of reconciliation moves to make. Don't also forget why he could be coming to Mr. President and he was granted audience was because when the crisis started, you remember Mr. President intervened. But Fubara went back to Port Harcourt, and maybe some people told him that Mr. President does not have the power or does not have the right, to mediate, to help them resolve the conflict. Yes, he does not have the power, but as an elder, like we say in Yoruba land, Agbakiwa Loja, Ori Omo Tuntun Wo, the role of elders is to ensure that there's orderliness in society. So if the elders see two people fighting, and they say, my children or my younger ones don't fight, and people are telling you that he doesn't have the right to tell you not to fight, well, that is your cup of tea if you continue on that way, because he can only advise, he can only appeal, he cannot force you to abide by whatever you have agreed on. If you have agreed to a condition or to some terms of settlement, and you renege on it, and the two of you turn it into a rough fight, it is the two of you that will bear the brunt. The man who has tried to make peace will just, stay away so that he's not injured by your two fighting. So if Fubara does the needful, there's no reason why he cannot, be integrated back if those with whom he has the crisis feel. Because the crisis we are talking about is the Rivers State political crisis. If they feel, yes, we have made our statements, everybody, we have understood ourselves now, everybody now knows their limits, we won't allow this to repeat itself, and they see signs that, the man is keeping to the agreement, or that the man has turned a new leaf. Why not, if not, and if not?
All right. Let's turn attention now to another visit, which happened still just a few days ago. The president hosted the governor of Osun State, his brother, his entrepreneur brother, and if you like, billionaire brother, as well as his nephew Davido. But let's focus on governance in Osun State. One of the reasons that the governor must have visited the president, well, some have said is not unconnected to, or how's that put? It's not connected. It's quite connected, to put it best simply, quite connected to the local government council funds we withheld, according to a report by the Attorney General of the Federation. How do you feel about what's happening in Osun State? The Attorney General declaring that since February, local government funds be withheld. The Attorney General of the state has since gone to court suing the federal government, and having the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, as the sole respondent to that suit. What's happening there, and how can this be resolved, Nelson?
Well, the matter in Osun State, as we speak, is in court. I wouldn't know whether the visit of Governor Adeleke and his elder brother and his nephew has anything to do with the political situation in Osun State. But if it has anything to do with the political situation in Osun State, you are now aware, and you have just stated it very clearly, that the Attorney General of Osun State and so the federal government, we all know how this crisis started. And it was as a result of the local government election, of which the former administration that was declared illegal, and Governor Adeleke went ahead to remove them from office and constituted and put in place an interim local government administration until he conducted a local government, until he now attempted to conduct a local government election. And the Court of Appeal now said the declaration of the election that brought in that local government administration that was dissolved by Adeleke when he came into office, that the court erred in law. So the Adeleke government is the Bola Adeleke government, and the party that was in power then were now interpreting it according to how they deem fit, and it became something that would result into threat to national security, and it even resulted into the killing of some persons, as well as injuries to some and destruction of properties. But I think wisdom prevails, and the government of Osun State said they are going back to court to seek the interpretation of that judgment by the Supreme Court. So as we speak, the matter has been taken back to court. So I want to believe that any right-thinking person should wait for the court, to adjudicate on the matter, and then we'll know where we are going. So everybody now can read whatever they want. Don't forget that the Adelekes and President Tinubu have always been friends before now, and I'm not sure if we are friends and we are in different political parties, and you come visiting my home or they go visiting Mr. President, everything should be read from the political angle. It could be part of their family tradition, their relationship. So I'm not privy to what transpired at the meeting of the visit. But I know that the issue in Osun State right now, Osun State is calm. The state government has gone to court to challenge the decision of the Attorney General, who gave a legal advice with regards to the Court of Appeal judgment. But the state government, threw away that advice, and that is why the Attorney General is sticking to his guns, that this is what the court said. So if you believe the Attorney General has said, go to court, go and get, an interpretation of that judgment, then bring the judgment to the Attorney General, who is duty bound to obey the judgment.
Though this is, as you referenced, in court, and as I mentioned too, in court, but lots of observers have wondered if the Attorney General has such powers to, withhold allocations meant for the local government, another tier of government, right? Because of course we have the federal, we have the state and local. If the Attorney General has such powers to do so, plus the state government, Osun State government, have said that we cannot let local government employers, those who draw salaries from these funds, withheld since February, right? We cannot let them suffer. So they've had to tap into funds meant for projects, according to the state government. Is this the right way to get things solved, to get, to solve problems? If the Attorney General believes and has provided, a counsel to say this is the right interpretation to what the Court of Appeal said, shouldn't the Attorney General himself, go another route in resolving this problem?
No. The role of the Attorney General of the Federation, apart from, advising Mr. President on legal matters that has to do with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is also the enforcer of the law. That judgment by the Court of Appeal is a law. And the role of the Attorney General is to see that that law is carried out. So if you feel the Attorney General has erred in enforcing the law, your duty as a party is to go to court to challenge the right of the Attorney General to enforce that law. So if the Attorney General has said this law that the court has made, this is what it says. If you now believe the Attorney General has not interpreted the law the way you want, rather than what the court says, then go to court. The Attorney General is not the one stopping the allocation to the Osun State local government administration. The Supreme Court had made a ruling that no local government must be presided over by an unelected administration. So until the elected administration is in office in Osun State, the Attorney General is duty bound to enforce that judgment of the Supreme Court, which is a law. So what the Attorney General is doing is simply enforcing a law made by the judiciary. Because I don't know whether people are aware that whatever judgments courts make is a law. It is not only the legislator that makes law. Judgments of courts is a law until overturned by a superior court. So what the Attorney General has done is simply carrying out the orders of the courts. And that is his role under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right. In closing, let's talk about politics in Osun State. The elections will soon come, and there's a race for that as well. Names have been thrown here and there. Of course, the incumbent Governor Demola Adeleke still has is constitutionally allowed one more term, another 4 years. He's with the People's Democratic Party. There have been talks that with defections happening here and there, he could possibly move, and that's why some persons, have mentioned the fact that this one has visited the president. Maybe that's for some negotiation. But let's talk the politics in this state and what's happening. There's Aregbesola on one side, former, if you like, ally of the president, and one who has, as many would say, a strong political movement in the state. He said too that he's not willing to get into any form of coalition out of the governorship election in this state. What do you think could happen, and how do you think this could turn out for the people of Osun State in terms of the upcoming elections?
Well, I know for free that the governor of Osun State now, Senator Demola Adeleke, is in his first term, and under the constitution is entitled to another term if the people so desires. Whether it will be the flag bearer of his party, the PDP, I don't know, because I don't belong to the PDP. As for the APC and other parties, a lot of party stalwarts are gearing up to throw their hearts into the ring to vie for the party's primaries to be the party's flag bearer for the gubernatorial election. We wait to see whoever, any of the political parties who will be contesting the 2026 gubernatorial election in Osun State will be. Then you talked about the Aregbe. Don't forget that Aregbe was formerly of the APC until he left the party. And right now, whether he's going to form another party or is going to coalesce into an existing party, I don't know. But like you all know that even in politics, 24 hours is a long time. And as we speak, INEC, just last week, INEC released the timetable for the Osun gubernatorial election as well as the Ekiti gubernatorial election. So, how it pans out in Osun come next year, we're all watching. But we just hope and pray that all the gladiators, I mean the political gladiators, will keep to the rules of engagement and not endanger, our democracy by acts that are unbecoming. Anyhow they run their affairs, they should recognize that we are a country governed by laws. So anybody should be free to throw his act into the ring to be the flag bearer of his party. The processes should conform with the provisions of our laws, as well as the constitution of the parties. But be that as it may, we know that 2026 gubernatorial election in Osun State will be an interesting one, because whoever emerges from any of the party is looking like Governor Adeleke will get a return ticket from his party to be the flag bearer. How it pans out at the polls on election day, the people's vote will decide that.
But do you think, do you picture a situation where Governor Adeleke could move to the All Progressives Congress?
I've just told you now that 24 hours is a long time in politics. My name is Neville Kudumi, and not Senator Ademola. What is going on in his mind? Those factors surrounding him that can make him take those decisions are within his purview, not before me. So I don't know.
No. But going by your observations, you've seen this, you've seen that. The Delta State governor just a few weeks ago, less than a month ago, defected. Who would have seen that coming? It was from the PDP. As a matter of fact, the Akwa Ibom State governor has been talking about defecting, and he's even said, well, for his cabinet members, you've got to come with me or you go. So again, yes, you've mentioned anything can happen, but I'm saying by your observations, he's visited the president. You have said, yes, that could be, their family tradition to continue to visit themselves and all of that. Davido did some 1 or 2 weeks ago too. There was a video circulating where Davido visited the president, the Villa, alongside some of his associates. So, but I'm saying, by your observation, is there a possibility there? Do you think that it could leave the PDP, considering the crisis too within the PDP?
It's not impossible. That's just what I would say. It's not impossible. It could happen, and it might not happen. We don't know. But like I told you earlier, 24 hours is a long time in politics. So anything can happen. Just keep your mind wide open that it could be either here or there. So you cannot predict. A year ago, nobody could have predicted that the governor of Delta State would come to the APC. Same with the Akwa Ibom governor. But today, here we are. So this is 2025. We have election in 2026. We don't know what tomorrow morning. Today is a Wednesday. Tomorrow is a Thursday. We don't know what tomorrow morning we pass. So whether Governor Adeleke will decamp or not, it's not something that we should foreclose. It's a possibility.
Like you said, like you said, the most important thing would be for political gladiators in the states, and indeed other states across the country, to play by the rules and ensure that the people enjoy the dividends of democracy. Nelson Kunjimi has been my guest today as we talk out this conversation. Nelson, I'd like to thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
A fantastic one. All right, that's the show today. Many thanks for being there. It's been Homo Politicus. Kingsley Bass is my name. Until next time, make sure you're safe and continue to watch the program Homo Politicus on Enterprise Television. Bye for now.